Copy that.
Yeah, we have Muller as CLS, right?
Refer.
Sergeant Richie, what's your status tonight? Are we ready to go?
Affirm, sir. I believe no one else outside the boxes was ready to go, sir.
Yeah. All right.
Great. I'm just thrown into a spot I don't know how to use.
Whoever's talking over global, make sure you get in the game before you talk over global.
Full circle on you, sir.
Stand by, Sergeant. See a lot of people running around still.
Alpha 2, I say we need limit traffic 123.
Why do I still have people at my fucking boxes? I don't want to hear excuses. Hurry up and get it fixed and get back in line. Thank you, Sergeant.
Squad leaders, this is 3-7 break. There should be no one at the fucking boxes anymore. You should all be kitted out properly, know what the fuck your count is. Get your shit in line.
3-4 copies, but we're all good.
3-2 copies.
Alright, sir.
3-2 copies.
3-1 copies.
All right, Task Force Charlie, school circle.
School circle on LT now. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen of Task Force Charlie, welcome to second phase of the FTX cycle of 2018. We're going to be going over a number of things tonight. First off, it will be enemy identification, and the second will be defense of a fortified position. First, we're going to do tonight is going to go over to examination area to our southwest. We'll be looking at a number of vehicles and enemy assets that we will be talking about, going over in detail on how we engage them, prosecute them, and take them off the gaming field, and how we continue our mission. So everybody follow me. We're going to move over to that area and stay tight.
It's to our west, southwest.
Roger, you see my message I sent you?
Yep, I heard you, sir.
What is up, guys? Welcome to FTX 02, FTX Cycle 0218 Task Force Charlie, which I will be Zeusing. So the purpose of the FTX is the friendlies at the airbase will be going over proper identification of enemy targets, proper ways to engage enemy targets, meaning don't shoot tanks with a 5.56mm rifle. And then to put those two things into practice, they'll be going to this cop right here, which is Cop Charlie, and they'll be defending it. They're going to be air assaulting in to the cop, which has been, it was previously overrun and it's now abandoned. But there's 8 guys with rifles that shouldn't be able to shoot the helicopters down as the helicopters are landing. All they've got is AK 74s, it looks like. So they're going to air assault into here, and they're going to land, and once they land, enemies are going to start coming in waves to take it back. And that's the whole mission. They have to defend this thing for, an hour. And I made it look like it's been partially destroyed already. You got a destroyed MRAP here. You got a destroyed building here. And then up here specifically, all of the defensive emplacements have been destroyed, as well as another MRAP. And that's to discourage them from putting a unit up here, which will make it easier for me to send waves of enemies that are actually posing a threat to them. And that's it for that, so let's get over to where they're doing little shindig.
How do we engage these targets? We have Tunguska and Ashilka behind us. These are basically need to be taken out by our friendly armor teams. All right, armor or even air asses can take them out. Lieutenant Brownlee, do you how do you take out these targets?
With the A10 either a Gal or a Hellfire.
Roger that. So when we see these on the battlefield, we basically call these up, and basically the air asses are the ones who reach out first and are just like, hey, we have these targets down the ground. They're a general threat to the task force, both from an infantry standpoint and the air standpoint, and they're a very high priority. As we go throughout all these armored targets here tonight, we're going to be going from higher priority to lower priority from a engagement standpoint. So armored teams are basically, this is the highest priority that they want to engage these targets at, and then we also task the air assets. Whoever takes them out first wins, and that's how Captain Soto pays people in pizza, essentially. If you take out one of these targets before he takes them out, then he'll get you a pizza. First Sergeant Captain, anything you want to add?
I'm pretty sure the pizza only applies to the Tunguska and nothing
Is that
else.
what it is? Okay, well, I apologize for any false hopes there. Alright, let's adjust over this way. Let's talk about the tanks. Alright, who wants to stand up first and tell me what the furthest left armored target is over here? Corporal Specialist Van Harlem.
Thank you, sir. That's a T-100.
Alright, what's the next one right here?
That's a T-90, sir.
Alright, sit down. Or kneel down, excuse me. What's this one right in front of me? Nobody knows what this is? Sergeant Yogi.
Elsie, that's a T-80.
Alright, we have a T-100, a T-90, and a T-80. How do we know the difference between those three? Nobody? Corporal Hardman.
Thank you, sir. The T-100 is pretty distinctive in terms of its overall shape. The turret is a lot more dome-like. Its armor plating, again, sort of contours better to the shape of the vehicle. The differences between the T-90 and the T-80 are mostly armor-based, as well as some differences overall in shape. The T-90 also has the improved optics either side of the barrel, as well as a few additions up on the top of the turret.
Thank you, Corporal. So basically what we have in this whole line of armored targets here are tanks. From my personal perspective, I don't really care what you call it. It's a fucking tank. Alright? Tanks are another priority target, basically designated for armored teams. Armored teams and air assets are the ones we call these out on. Alright? We don't waste NLAWs on these fucking targets. We're not going to waste small shoulder-fired rockets on these targets, okay?
You mean laws?
Laws, excuse me. Thank you, Captain. These are essentially some very dangerous enemy multipliers out there on the battlefield, okay? So, we got a T-100, T-90, T-80. What's this one over here? Stand up, you know what this one is. Alright, Sergeant
Easy,
Smith.
just go down. Put yourself on yelling.
Get your big boy voice. T-72. How do you know it's a T-72 versus a T-80? Because they look awfully similar to me.
Okay, the T-72, it's basically, if you look at its turret, not the actual turret, but the cabin, oops, wrong button. Basically, it is almost, how should I say this, like a V-shaped, and then what the actual T-80 It's sloped down, but the T80 is a little V shape. Now I can tell this by experience. Of me practicing with some of my members in my team, having them actually shoot at armored pieces as well. Lieutenant.
Sergeant Smith, how would you engage a T-72?
I would engage it with my team if I'm not rifle squad, weapon squad. In all scenarios, if it is based off of a dangerous situation where we aren't like actually getting friendly assets to support us, if desperate measures have to come up, I will engage the T-72 with an AT-4 from its rear, hitting the engine compartment. But that's the only time. Usually, I would rely on the weapon squads or our air assets, sir.
Did everybody hear that?
What?
Hateful.
All right. Now, this is a big point that's very important when we're engaging armored targets. When we're talking about T-100s all the way down to T-72s, it's very, very important to realize that the different sides of these armored vehicles rely on their armor. So it actually is very important that if you engage one of these fuckers from the front, those are the very heavily armored, fortified part of that tank. All right? So, in general, a general rule of thumb when you're engaging these armored targets is to call it up to your weapon squad or call it up to company where they're going to call in air assets onto this target. If you have a clean shot at the back with your AT-4 or your Law, go ahead. Take it. Take it off the fucking chessboard as soon as you possibly can.
Law is probably not going to do a goddamn thing to any of these armor pieces except those two on the end, maybe.
Maybe. All right? Last resort. If even that. But your priority is to basically call this up, get the right people with the right weapons over here to destroy these vehicles, and take them off the chessboard. All right, let's keep moving down here.
Hold on.
Captain?
T-72 and T-80, they're pretty hard to tell apart. T-90 is super easy. If you can see it from the front of the turret, it's got those two little eyes on either side. That's the main way you differentiate the T-72, T-80 from the T-90. And then obviously the T-100 stands on its own. Those last two tanks on the end, were you going over there next or go over to the BMPs?
Yes, sir. We're going over the two on the end.
All right. So just remember, the little eyes on either side means it's a T-90.
Thank you, sir. All right, who can tell me what the hell this tan thing is right in front of me?
Coble, sir.
Go ahead, Private Coble.
Yes, sir. That's a T-62 and a T-34-85.
Man, you're an overachieving person. You told me both of them. So what's the difference here? You can obviously see a difference, but how do you tell the difference when one's shooting at you and one might shoot at you at a different time?
Well, the T-62 has a 100mm gun. The T-34 has an 85mm gun. One is built in the late 60s. The other one's built in the 40s.
Yeah, but how do I tell that one's shooting at me on the battlefield? And you don't... You call it up. I mean, obviously you know the difference between the two, but if I were getting shot at on the battlefield, how would I know the difference between these two? Are there any deciding features besides the millimeters of the guns? Anything?
It's a T-55, not a T-62. I don't know.
It depends if we're being engaged at night. The T-62 has night capabilities.
Okay. Anyone know the answer that I was asking for? Private Wade. Oh, Private Wade. What do you think?
Yourself on yelling.
Does it one shoot faster than the other?
Yeah, but I'm looking at them though. All right, I'm not going to be counting rate of fire. I'm not going to be. I just want to know what the specific vehicle is. They're both tanks to me, right? They're both shooting at us. How are we going to gauge these things?
LT.
Specialist Van Harmon.
Thank you, sir. The T-34 has the turret on the front of the tank, and it has the fuel drums on the side, which are pretty distinctive and very different from the T-62.
Thank you, Specialist.
Before we keep calling that thing a T-62, it's not. It's a T-55. The one with the rounded turret.
See, there we go. But the fuel drums is the point that Specialist Van Harmon put out right there. So the fuel drums on the back versus the fuel drums on the side, that's a very good observation. They're all tanks, we engage them, and we can engage possibly these N2 targets with an AT-4, worst case scenario. Otherwise, the T-100s through the T-72, we want to use the weapon squad for those. Whether it be a Javelin, whether it be other weapons, whether it be air assets, we got to prioritize those as we get them. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's move over here to the BMPs. Now, before we even start talking about these, what do you notice about these versus what do you notice about those ones in the end over there? What's the big difference? Corporal Bergwall.
Thank you, Lieutenant. BMPs have tracks and BTRs have wheels.
That is really the only major difference between these two that I personally care about as a task force commander. Now, obviously, there's a difference between all these models of vehicles, and how we engage them is kind of similar. Basically, we have the BMPs over here with tracks. They all have little guns on top. But can someone tell me what the hell this is over here on the end with the camouflage pattern? Stand up if you know. Chief McMillan.
I think that's a BTR Karmish, or it should be in the game file. It's
what are you talking about?
It's a BTR-K Karmish. It's an upgraded version of the other BMP. It's got a remote control turret, which is pretty obvious. That's about it.
All right, commish. We call it a commish.
We call it a BMP. It doesn't matter that it's called a BTR by the game. We're gonna call it a BMP, regardless. Call it a BMP commish if you want. Don't call it a commish. No one's gonna know what the fuck you're talking about. Just call out BMP. If we're fighting against forces that are using these types of vehicles, we're gonna know.
And like we brought back to the whole thesis of the different armored targets over on this side of the tarmac here, we have tracks and we have wheels. Everything with a track is a fucking BMP. Everything with wheels is a BTR. How do we engage them? Well, God forbid you have to engage them with a law, a BMP that is. But the goal is to use an AT4 or use your weapon squad. Understood?
April. Roger, sir.
Now, I can get into the specifics of guns and how dangerous they are versus others, but I think you all should treat them as equally dangerous. You see a BMP roll up on top of you guys in the fucking squad, you should be scared shitless. Your goal is to get your other parts of the platoon to help you guys out to make sure that they're taken out either by yourselves, if you're able to, from the right flank. Again, just like the tanks, they have armor on very important parts of the vehicle, the front and the sides. Get a back shot, take it, take the risk. Otherwise, get the weapon squad, get an air asset, whatever it may be. Understood?
Oh, yes, sir.
Cool. Yes, sir.
Captain, First Sergeant, anything you want to add to these?
That one on the
No,
right
sir.
side. That one on the right side is not actually a BMP. It's a BMD. You can see from here that it's smaller. I often call BMP 3s out, which is what this fucking thing is, accidentally as BMDs because of the front place turret. It doesn't really matter. We engage them all with the same weapon systems, so misidentification outside of the weapon systems that they have is not that big of a deal, as long as you call them the tracked things that are not tanks are generally BMPs.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. All right, moving down to the next line here. Now that these vehicles do not have tracks, who can stand up and tell me with 100% certainty what the hell these vehicles are called? Only about 2/3 of you stand up, really? Alright. Is it Private Lantier? Is that how it's pronounced?
Yes, sir.
What are these?
These are BMPs.
No!
I'm
Sit
sorry,
down.
I'm sorry, BTR. I'm so dumb.
Sergeant Fang, what are these vehicles? Yell for me, would you, so the whole platoon can hear it?
These are BTRs.
He had to pause for a second before he said that to make sure he didn't fuck it up like the other guy. He was like, don't say the wrong 3 letters.
BTR. How I learned to tell the difference back when I was a guy in the infantry was that T stands for tires. T stands for tires. Don't think tracks. Don't think tracks. T stands for tires. So all these vehicles here, whatever you see roll out in front of you and you're fucking shitting your pants in a battlefield, you got to pop smoke, you got armor rolling up your ass. These are BTRs. How do you engage these? Someone stand up if you can tell me how you engage these. Oh gosh. Corporal McCoy, how do you engage these things?
Thank you, Lieutenant. Usually engage
Absolutely. If you call up to your platoon, if you call up to company saying that you got one of these on your position and you need help dealing with it, you're doing it wrong. You have 2 pieces of anti-armor rocketry or weapon systems in your squad that you can deal with this by yourselves. All right? You should be able to engage it with an AT-4, and if you need to deal with a law, like the corporal said, you can engage from the sides or the rear that'll disable the vehicle or destroy the vehicle. Again, these are equipped with armor on the front. You want to prioritize attack from the sides or the rear to basically neutralize its effectiveness on the battlefield. Corporal McCoy, do you have another thing to add?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Lieutenant. In a pinch or in an emergency situation, HEDP 40 mics can be used on the tires to disable its mobility. That's all. Thanks, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you, Corporal. Worst case scenario, these things have tires, so you shoot those fuckers out. In my experience, you have, basically it takes a magazine of 249 ammo. Take out a tire here. I don't know if that's changed recently, the enemy's equipment. But essentially, it takes a lot of ammunition to engage it with 5.56 on the tires. But if your grenadier and your fire teams have 40 mics, throw that on there so they can stop moving around. You may not disable the gun. But if you can stop it from moving, then you guys can fire a maneuver as a squad or a platoon yourselves. Lock this fucker down and shoot it with a rocket and take it off the chessboard. Understood? Sergeant Petco, what do you have to say?
Thank you, Lieutenant. Quick question. Do we know if the armor values on the BTR-70 have been fixed? I remember last time we used them, they were a little bit wonky.
That's a question for your chain of command. But as far as armor values go, I mean, we're talking about armored targets. So basically, all these have very similar armor. They all have one on the front and the side. As far as armor values, I don't know what you're talking about. Captain, do you have anything you want to add to that?
The CSAT version of the BTR may be a little bit more beefy than the more classical versions. So keep that in mind. You may have to put 2 or 3 rounds into it. I don't know how effective the law will be against them.
Now, in my experience in the 506 tier, there's this thing standing in front of me. Can anyone stand up and tell us specifically what this one is right there in front of me? All right. Private Stark, what is that?
BTR-80 Alpha.
Sir.
Sir.
Thank you, Private. Now, what is the difference between a BTR-80 Alpha and the other BTRs here?
Big fucking gun.
I see a lot of the same people standing up here. Anybody? All right. Private Morgan. And why does that scare the shit out of anybody that hears a BTR-80A called it over the radio? It's a fucking infantry killer. It's a very distinctive sound when fired. You hear that fucking thing fire off from a kilometer away, you're gonna know that thing is rolling over the battlefield. And that's a big fucking priority for all infantry squads. You see a fucking infantry squad rolling out in a proper wedge formation across an open area, you have that thing pop out a defilade and wipe out your entire squad. It's very, very possible to happen. How do you tell the difference between a BTR-80A and the other ones? Besides the sound, like I said.
The size of the shit in your pants.
That too. Corporal Zoodle. Zoodle or Zoodle?
Zoodle, sir.
Zoodle, alright.
Thank you, sir. It's the large gun on the top, along with the smoke cannons that it has to the side of the gun for concealment.
Roger that. Alright, any questions on the difference between the BTR variants? Stand up if you have them. Alright. Like we said, difference between BTR here, BMP over there, tanks over there. Shilkas over there, or Tunguska. Whatever you want to call it. Shilka and Tunguska are essentially the same to me, Captain. I don't know if you have any difference between those.
Hey, pilots, would you say that the Shilka and the Tunguska are the same thing?
Yeah, but I'm not a pilot.
I can't hear you, so I assume you're saying, fuck no, sir. The easiest way to identify them, aside from the spinning radar dish versus the snare drum radar dish, is the one with 8 missiles. That is an aircraft killer. We need to prioritize those to our weapons squad so our aircraft can continue to operate in our AO unmolested.
Thank you for the note on that, Captain. On molestation of aircraft. Over here. Follow me.
This guy is way too excited.
Now we're getting over to softer targets here. This is where we have a lot more liberty on how to engage them. But I'm going to be very, very frank with how you engage them. If I see wasted AT4 or laws on, well, yeah, there's always exceptions. That's the thing. Basically, we want to save our heavy armor weapons for the ones we previously discussed. All right, for these ones, they can be engaged with laws. They can be engaged with 40mm. They can be engaged with 249 or 5.56 ball ammo. Take out tires, etc. But I don't want to see recoilless rifles being wasted on these targets behind me. I don't want to see air assets being called on these behind me. From here on out, we're talking about softer targets. Understood? So, what is that thing right there with the 349 on the side of it? Sergeant Yo.
Thank you, Ozzy. That's a BDRM.
BR. I never get it right either.
Dyslexia aside, that's a BRDM. It's basically a smaller armored vehicle with a dangerous cannon on top of it. All right, it can be a threat. Take it out with your 40 mics. Take it out with a law. Take it out with nothing heavier that should be saved for the other targets that we prioritize ahead of that tonight. All right, now we're moving on to these. What are these? No one knows what the hell that is. All right. I'm going to go over to this guy that stood up so proudly. Corporal Hardman, what is that?
I think you'll see there it's Ifrits.
Yeah, basically all these two right here in front of me are Ifrits, all right? They're a little more higher advanced Humvees, essentially, with weapon systems on top that can be controlled from inside the vehicle. Especially this one, which is a 40, which is an automatic grenade launcher on top of it. All right, those can fuck your day up really well. Engage that shit with a 40mm, engage it with a saw, shoot the drivers, shoot the tires out, whatever the hell you can do to get that thing to stop from firing at you or your team.
I don't know if you're gonna be able to take that out with the saw. That's probably.
Even the tires, Captain?
Oh, the tires, maybe. A lot of rounds. You're gonna need to use a law or an AT4 on these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vehicles for a sure kill.
And just a general rule of thumb, it's all about the weapon systems on top of these vehicles. I don't want you guys necessarily to waste anti-armor weapons on something that's not going to be shooting at you, like this thing in front of it here. I mean, obviously there's smoke grenades, but if you look right here, we have the Ifrit with a 40mm grenade launcher on top of it. That's a higher priority, obviously, because it's going to be shooting at you and your entire team, squad, platoon, whatever it may be. All right? Same thing with this thing over here. This is another little armored vehicle here. It's essentially an Ifrit, but it's a little less advanced. It's a little less armored. Screw down here, guys, if you want. But look on top of it. It's got a 40mm grenade launcher on top of it, therefore higher priority. You can shoot a lot more of you guys quicker than you can imagine. Understood?
Yes, sir. It's a GAZ armored truck. You can shoot the gunner out of it. The gunner's turret is not protected. But, like First Sergeant said last week, if you just shoot the gunner out of it and then ignore it, someone else can get up on the gun. That goes for pretty much all of these vehicles. If you want to be sure that no one's going to get up back on the gun if you're not sure whether the turret is disabled or not, shoot it until it explodes. But you need to make sure you're keeping in mind your AT status when you make those decisions. Or if you can, as a team leader, you need to say, if you're getting close enough to it, say, hey, we're gonna put demo on this Vic so no one can remount it later.
Absolutely. Any other notes on these vehicles here, First Sergeant? All right, move on down. We use another term for these Jeep-looking things. Now, depending on the Jeep, we can have fucking 40mm grenade launchers on top of them. We're going to have miniguns. We can have high-calibered automatic machine guns on top of them. But in general, what do we call them? Stand up if you know. Private Lantier.
Yes, sir. That is UAZ.
All right. There's a big difference when someone says UAZ. Like I said, one can be completely basically completely unarmed. One can just be a UAZ that's used to transport officers, or one can be a UAZ with a 40 millimeter on top of it that could wipe out a squad in a flash, moment's notice. All right. How you engage these things? You see they're very low armor value on these vehicles. Their weapon is very it's very dependent on the situation. You guys have 40 millimeter grenade launchers in your fire teams. Get your grenadier to shoot that shit until make sure no one else is getting on it. All right. Until the vehicle's exploded, depending on a certain situation, you want to destroy it, or make sure it's unarmed. All right. Make sure no one else can get in that vehicle and move along. In certain rare situations, we may be able to use these vehicles for our own purposes. I know in certain task force excursions that we've taken in the past, we've actually commandeered these vehicles, depending on the situation, if they were engaged with 40 millimeter or if they were engaged by small arms fire. So keep that in mind as well. Captain, any comments on these?
Yeah, you guys only went over the UAZs. What is the vehicle on the left? Generic term is what I'm looking for. Corporal Hardman.
Prowler, sir.
Even more generic. No one's gonna know what a prowler is. Corporal Chance.
Technical, sir.
Technical is the term we use most widely. It's pretty incorrect. But I'm not gonna tell you not to call it technical. That way we'll know technical. The way we use the term technical is it's a truck with basically no armor, so you can shoot everyone out of it. That's how we use the term technical. We should use the term gun truck.
LT, wrong. Captain, wrong net.
Was I transmitting on a radio?
Affirm, sir.
Okay, sorry, something got stuck. So that would be a special forces truck or a fast attack vehicle, but you just call it a gun truck. You call it a gun truck, we'll know what it is. You call it technical, we'll know what it is as far as the generalized term for the threat that we're facing. If you see something like that, though, you should definitely try to call it that it has a minigun on top of it. Try to identify its armament. Say we got a GMG technical or an HMG technical or gun truck or fast attack vehicle or special forces vehicle for the one on the end. These two trucks over here actually are technicals. Technical is just a term used for someone taking a civilian truck and mounting a gun on top of it.
But it's very important to realize that the civilian truck may have any sort of armament on top of it. Technical can mean a heavy machine gun. Technical can mean armed dudes sitting in the back of it. I mean, it can mean a number of different things. You see, we have a 7.62 on the back of it. We also have a 50 cal Browning M2 on the back of the other one. There's a wide variety of armament that can be put on a technical. All right. So prioritize those as you see fit. But in general, it's just as simple as engaging with small arms and taking out the driver and the gunner. Gunner first, obviously. Let's see here. Stand by. Corporal Hardman, anything you want to add to that?
Thank you, sir. The only thing I wanted to mention is the UAZs also occasionally can have an SPG-9 mounted on top of them, which is also bad news if we're obviously in a convoy or something like that. So that was all I had.
That's why I said when you're calling out the technical, you need to try as hard as you can to specify what the weapon system on it is.
So Sergeant Ritchie, stand up. How would you engage these things?
Thank you, sir. Oh, there we go. Thank you, sir. Probably engage them with a 40 mic, or I wouldn't waste any 18 law or any.
Can't hear Sergeant Ritchie.
Sergeant Ritchie, would you please speak a little louder for us?
Sorry about that, sir. I wouldn't engage this with any AT4s, laws, anything like that. I'll keep it straight to my 40 mic mics and small infantry fire, sir.
Roger that, Sergeant. Everyone of Havoc 3, hear that?
Cool. April.
All right, let's move on down. Now we're getting down to this point in the vehicles. They don't look nearly as harmless, but yet they're a force multiplier for our enemy. Who can tell me what that Soviet-looking thing behind me is? Stand up. See the same people standing up. Let's get some people who don't know what the hell they are. Private Ark. What is that?
That is a Ural for Sasan.
Alright, thank you, Private. A Ural is essentially an enemy transport vehicle, Soviet era. They can transport troops in it, transport technology, assets, whatever it may be, but it's basically a deuce and a half, the American version of a deuce and a half. If you don't know what that is, it's basically an army transport truck. Alright? When you see one of those, engage that shit with small arms fire, and 40mm grenade launchers. What about these things behind me? What the hell is this right here? Stand up if you know. Corporal Chance, what is that?
I believe it's a Hemet LT.
Nope. I mean, I see a Hemet. I mean, I don't know. This is a Mac, is what I would call it. It's got the fuel tank on the back for rearming and resupplying enemy assets. But yeah, it's essentially a transport truck for enemy supplies, enemy assets, etc. Captain, I'd call it as a Mac. What would you call it?
I would call it a fuel truck.
Yeah, I mean,
transport truck, fuel truck, repair truck. That's the terms we're looking for. You don't need to call them by their actual technical names. If it doesn't have a gun on it, we really don't. It's not really a priority unless it's full of troops. That's why you say it's a transport truck, and then you light it up. If the enemy is stupid enough to drive their transport trucks into our small arms range, kill them before they get out.
And like what would happen right here behind us, this is an enemy type Hemet vehicle, which the U.S. Army utilizes in a number of areas. Same with this covered Ural right here. Those are type of transport vehicles that they would use to transport reinforcements into our area. So we go and assault an objective, or we're defending an objective. The enemy brings up reinforcements in these type of covered transport vehicles or uncovered transport vehicles. That's where we light that shit up with 40mm and small arms fire and make sure they don't even get out of the back of the truck. Understood?
Does
anybody want to add any notes about these transport variants of wheeled vehicles? Sergeant Ritchie.
Thank you, sir. The one thing I want to point out to you, gentlemen, is whenever the fucking SAWs or the M240 Bravos are shooting at these vehicles, do not waste your fucking weapon. Do not waste your ammo on it. If they're shooting at it, just keep security up and let them do the work. They're going to get all this shit and get it all swept up for it. When they dismount, then that's when you can start opening up. But that is something you guys need to know, is stop prioritizing these vehicles if they're being engaged by other assets that are capable to do it better. That's all I had, sir.
Thank you, Sergeant. Any questions at this point in time? Corporal Hardman, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, sir. I just wanted to mention it. The first Ural in the lineup has obviously an anti-aircraft gun mounted in the back. In terms of calling contacts out, that makes that one a much higher value target than any other form of transport truck or that sort of thing. So just wanted to make that note, so that was all.
Thank you, Corporal. I didn't even notice that myself. They have a Zeus cannon on the back of it, which essentially is an anti-aircraft cannon that will shoot at helicopters, that will shoot at fixed-wing aircraft, etc. So if you see someone on the back of that, you see a couple people sitting on the back of that with an anti-aircraft cannon, shoot up skyward, you'll see the barrel sticking up in the air if you encounter one of those. And that's absolutely a high priority target. Thank you, Corporal.
Or
Corporal
you'll
McCoy,
see the green tracers coming at you at 3,000 rounds per second.
They're also used for infantry, absolutely, which is a worst nightmare. Corporal McCoy, you have a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you, sir. In the past, we've had trouble engaging the troop transport Ural from the side with 5.56 due to some light armoring, but it is penetrable by 7.62. Can you confirm that, sir?
I honest to God could not tell you the difference between how well they're engaged, but I'll tell you 7.62 will do a better job than 5.56.
Roger that, thank you, sir.
I think it was what Sergeant Ritchie was saying earlier. If a weapon squad is engaging a transport truck already, save the ammo, let the 7.62 from the weapon squad and their M240s take care of it. All right.
Roger. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Anyone else want to add anything?
I believe Sergeant Smith had something, sir.
Stand by. Sergeant Smith.
Thank you, sir. I was gonna say discard, but you engage these the same way you engage it with the gun trucks with your HETP rounds. And 760 rounds, sometimes 556 rounds can penetrate the cabin unless you actually see the opening area. That's all. First unit.
Good note. Thank you, Sergeant Smith. All right, let's move on down to these whirlybirds. Chief McMillan, do you guys know what these are?
That's an A-firm, sir. From the left to right, the first
Hold
one
on,
is a hip.
stand by.
Go ahead.
Does your entire section know what they are?
That's an A-firm, sir.
All right, go ahead and prep your guys' birds for the operation we have coming up.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, so air assets are going to go start their pre-startup checks while we talk about their biggest enemies. We have 3 helicopters in front of us. All right, let's start with the furthest one from the left. Anyone know what the furthest one on the left is?
First one from the left.
All right.
Is that one?
Private Harper. What's the one on the left?
Yourself on yelling.
It's Hind, sir.
On the left? That's a Hind?
Oh, that's not a Hind.
Yeah, what is it? Is someone calling on Sergeant Pip? Is that what I'm hearing? No.
Sir, it's an MI8 hip.
It's an MI8 hip. Thank you.
Be more specific, though. What kind of MI8 hip?
I believe it's an MI8T, sir.
I don't care about the T.
It's an armored variant of MI8 hip.
It's an armed helicopter.
There you go.
It's armed. Armed is what I'm looking for. It's an MI8 hip gunship, meaning it has an absolute ridiculous fuck ton of rockets in that thing's case. It's one of the scariest things we can find on the battlefield, because unlike the autocannons that shoot at us and we can possibly hide behind, that thing has something like 128 rockets that it can shoot at us from up above, and we don't normally have cover above our heads. So you need to specify if it's an MI8 hip or an MI8 hip gunship.
Gunship is a key word with all these whirlybirds that are standing behind us, alright? Excuse me. The thing that annoys me the most when I see enemy helicopters with weapons on them, aka gunships, like we just said, is that people start shooting at them. People start drawing attention to themselves. People start pissing them off. And they all of a sudden turn around and start shooting rockets at our ass. Alright? These are specifically reserved for the air assets that have that have sidewinders attached to them. Alright, so air assets are primarily the ones that can take these out. I've seen some very sharp anti-armor teams take these out if they're hovering, but don't even try it unless you're extremely confident and it's a dire scenario. But reserve these for the ones with the sidewinders, specifically the A10, and specifically the Warlord. Understood?
Cool.
Alright, now all of these have weapons on them. Alright, so like I said, that's an MI8 gunship, hip gunship, whatever you want to call it. What's this one right behind me right here? Who's the jab gunner back there? Sergeant Lyon.
Sure, that's Havoc. KA-52.
It's a Havoc. Alright, KA-52. It's another gunship. It's got rockets. It's got... Are those... I don't even know what the fuck those big things are on the side. Are those Hellfire type things? But they're not a dangerous gunship, alright? I call them a Cashman is what I grew up calling them. Captain, what do you call them?
I call it an attack helicopter.
Very similar. It's got weapons on it. Shoots at the ground. Like I said, it's reserved primarily for air assets. Don't piss it off. Don't draw attention to yourself if you see these things, etc.
It's KA-52 if you want to be specific about it on the radio, but an attack helicopter shooting at us is an attack helicopter, and we engage them all in the same manner.
Alright, who's the first guy who said, hold on, stand by. Private Harper, what is this aircraft right here?
Deco, can you talk on 71.1, please?
A Hind.
That is a Hind. All right, very similar. This attack helicopter.
Can you talk on
It's a gun.
7.1.1, please?
Well, who's talking right now? Who's talking over this discussion of attack aircraft? This is another attack helicopter. This is a Hind. How do you tell the difference between a Hind and a HIP? I don't know. Look at the front. Look at the wings. Essentially, like got a bunch of rockets on top on the side of it. It's another infantry killer. Hind versus a HIP. All right. See the difference?
Cool.
Same thing as discussed before with the Ka-52 and with the HIP gunship. Understood?
Cool.
All right. Good shit. Captain, First Sergeant, anything you want to add to these?
No, sir.
Sergeant Smith?
Thank you, sir. I just want to point out the actual capabilities of this actually being able to carry troops in the center. So it can carry troops and land and drop them off, re-engage us again if it wants to, or any of our assets. That's it, sir.
Thank you. Specialist Van Harlem?
Thank you, sir. I wanted to add that the Ka-52 is a lot faster as the Hind or the Mi-8. So it can be a lot more dangerous for the air assets to deal with.
Thank you, Specialist. Private Coble, do you have anything?
Yes, sir. I also wanted to add that the 52, you can't disable it from the shooting at the tail because it has no tail rotor.
Yep, the dual main rotors, anti-torque, all that stuff. A little more complicated. That damn Soviet engineering. All right. Check on learning here. We have a Tunguska, we have a Shilka, we have tanks, we have BMPs, we have BTRs, we have Ifrits, we have Jeeps and Gazes, we have attack helicopters, armed and unarmed transport versus armed helicopters or attack helicopters, whatever you want to call it. You guys feel comfortable at knowing what we could go up against on the battlefield?
Cool.
All right. Now, after this part of the FTX tonight, we're going to be going into a defense position. We're going to be facing a lot of this different shit tonight, okay? So I want you guys to implement what you have just learned here through this discussion. First off, I want to thank everybody who stood up and participated in the discussion as far as identifying vehicles, taking a risk of possibly being wrong, and if you're confident as well to stand up and name a vehicle. But we're going to be going into a defense posture at FOB Charlie, and we're going to be defending that position against all the shit that we just went over tonight. And knowing the tenacity of Havoc 3, I'm very confident we'll be able to defend that position. So everybody go ahead and stand by for 1 sec. We're going to do a quick briefing with the platoon leaders and the section leaders, and we'll get ready to move here pretty quick. Stand by.
Hold on. The number one thing, outside of proper identification of enemy vehicles and aircraft, is what to properly engage them with. One of the big problems we have is our anti-armor teams using their javelins and their maws to take out targets that can be taken out with M72s and AT4s. When you guys see those softer targets, meaning BTRs and below, that you can take out with the AT that you were provided as an infantry squad, you need to do so. You don't need to be calling for your weapon squad to come over and take those out. The weapon squad needs those heavier rounds for the heavier targets that we face. So don't call the weapon squad for a BTR. Shoot your fucking AT4 at it. Don't call the weapon squad for a Gaz or an enemy MRAP or Ifrit or whatever you want to call it. However you identify it, as long as you identify it correctly. Shoot with the smallest thing that you can possibly kill it with before calling weapon squad or calling for air support. That's all I got.
Thank you, Captain. All right, Havoc 3, Havoc 4, come over here. Let's do a quick briefing. Areas, if you also want to give a quick briefing, that'd be great.
Who you check? 1.1.
New Charlie, watching 1.1 over.
Beyond comms on Mike,
Excuse me.
Now, Captain, my understanding of tonight is we're going to be air assaulting, taking COP Charlie at grid location 067029er. We are going to be defending that position against enemy counterattack on that fixed friendly position. Anything else you'd like to add to that, Captain?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it for you.
COP Charlie was recently overrun by enemy forces. The enemy forces have, for the large part, cleared out of the COP. It's partially destroyed. You guys are going in to head off an enemy force that is going through that area. We want to stop them from moving through that area. That is our mission tonight. So you're going to the cop, and then you're gonna defend the cop.
Roger that.
You can do it, Wade.
Thank you, Captain.
Are there any questions?
So the cop's completely destroyed?
Nothing from me, Captain.
Say again, LT?
Like, so the cop's completely destroyed?
No, it's partially destroyed. Are you on yelling?
I don't think so.
Alright, Lieutenant, make sure you guys are on are being quiet right now. Thank you, Sergeant Ritchie. Alright, everybody pull up your maps. What we're going to be doing is we're taking 2 times Chinooks into COP Charlie.
Yelling, fix your shit.
Going into COP Charlie, 2 times Chinooks. We're going to take up defensive positions. We have 4 infantry squads. I want 1 in each fucking corner. We have no idea where the hell they're coming from. Alright, from there, we're going to be defending the position tooth and nail. Make sure the enemies do not move through that area. And make sure they do not take the position that was already lost. Like I said, the focus of tonight's FTX is going to be properly identifying and properly engaging armor and other enemy assets that we went over this evening. Make sure your squads are properly utilizing that. If I hear misidentified armor or misidentified assets on company net, I'm going to call you out on it. I'm going to call you out during debrief as well. Any questions?
None from Havoc 3, Lieutenant.
Alright. Whirly Birds, do you have anything?
That's negative, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Lieutenant Brownlee, anything from Fixed Wing? Alright, TAC P, I want you guys, as soon as you get on the ground, put the UAV up in the air. Havoc 4, any questions?
Negative, LT. I've already discussed with Dagger that we'll pre-designate some fire zones around the cop just to make life a little bit quicker for us.
Outstanding. Sergeant Myers, any notes?
Nothing for me, sir.
Alright, thank you, Captain.
No.
Alright. Alright, Delta Company, go get your birds ready. We're going to get loaded up in the Chinooks, and we're going to get moving out here pretty quick.
Roger that, sir. On our way as soon as we can. Yeah.
Alright, perfect. Make it happen.
Right, gentlemen, let's move.
Alright.
Properly briefed. Let's fucking go.
What, Sergeant?
Let's go.
Order.
On me.
Take this Havoc 5 on point 1.
Oh, there you are. I found it. It's fine. Robbie, this is my crew dealing Charlie.
Yeah, copy that. Be advised, I have no battle buddy this evening with company medics, so I need you guys to stick close to me.
Hold on, let me clear that with company first. Nothing gets passed through. Go ahead, sir.
It's fine. It's included in the loadout anyways.
Okay, sir. Alright, gentlemen. If you don't got your night vision scope, night vision, sight,
Havoc 3, this is 5, over.
Good for Havoc 3-5.
Full circle.
As soon as you and your squads are properly briefed, I need you to move over the Chinooks on the tarmac. I need you guys to stay off the taxiway as much as possible. Get loaded, and when you get out of here as soon as possible. How copy, over?
Roger the Havoc 5.
Alright, gentlemen.
Roger, Havoc 5 out.
He just stopped himself from saying, alright, motherfuckers.
Lock it up. Alright, gentlemen. We've been tasked with defending Cop Charlie down to our south at grid reference 06.
Trying to make it darker.
029.
Probably just have to
Already
make
got
more
that.
clouds.
Alright, backstory. Enemies pushed in, took over the cop, took it basically, and they're attempting to push out of it. We have been tasked to move in there, refortify the cop, and hold it from any counterattacks from the enemy. Now, we don't know what the current size of the enemy force is. Possibly can be up to more as a company or even higher, but we do not know. We know that they have access to armor assets and possibly air assets, but we don't know exact numbers. Is there anything else that you want to add to this, sir?
I got nothing.
All right. Any questions, comments from the squads?
I got one thing actually when they're done.
Sergeant Yogi. Now, as some of you may know, with cop defense, with these type of defensive positions, responsibility of sectors are fucking important. Very fucking important. So, I don't want to see no Tom, Dick, or fucking little bitch running off their position to another position because someone is shooting. And why the fuck are people leaving while I'm briefing? Can anybody explain that? Alright, fuck it. Make sure that you keep your sectors of responsibility up and you are watching out for everyone. I don't care if the Northwest is getting more gunfights or getting more fucking, just getting everything more. That doesn't mean you reposition yourself to that. Because you know what that detail rolls into? Can anybody tell me what that rolls into? Yes, Specialist.
It means your sector gets breached, Sir Sergeant.
That is correct. Our section gets breached and we got motherfuckers walking in our wire. We don't want that. If I see that shit happen tonight, I will personally fuck your shit up for banding your sector. Alright? That understood, everyone? Sir, do you have anything to add to that?
I've got nothing.
Alright. Alright, let's start making our way over to the birds to the fucking northeast. Alright, the first bird's gonna
not go on the runway.
Do not go on the runway, as LT said. First bird is gonna be 3132, second bird 33 and 34. I don't know what Havoc Force falling in there. I'm gonna get that information soon.
Hello.
3-7. 3-2
Yes.
is missing their mic.
No.
Okay, that's fine. What happened to him?
He timed out.
Okay, we get him back and get him back.
Send it.
Make sure before we go.
Apron, right? He's put it down on the ground, waiting to find you.
Alright.
Put it in your backpack.
Let's go, gentlemen. Let's go. This is not a fucking picnic.
Oh, apron, yes.
Oscar Mike. Do I go over there or not?
I'll be in the first bird.
This is 4 on 3-1, interrogative.
This Havoc 5, send it.
5, this is 4, can you just confirm which bird you'd like us in, over?
Roger that, you will be on the eastern bird. Rest of HQ will be on the western bird, over.
4 copies.
Havoc 3, this is 3-4.
4 out.
3-4 is 3-7, send it.
This is 3-4, we cleared the load.
Get permission from the pilot, then you can clear the load.
Clear, clear board.
All task force assets on frequency 3-1, you are clear to lock and load and get on the birds, over.
All squads, this is 3-7, break. You are cleared to lock and load and get into the birds. Make sure you do it before getting into the fucking bird, over.
2 pick up, is you. This is 3-4, we're fully loaded. 3-2, fully loaded. Three one's loaded.
All actions, 3, let me know when you're loaded, over.
5, this is 4, we're all loaded, over.
This is Havoc 3, we're all loaded in.
Myers, is that you right next to me?
Yeah.
Last calling station on 3-1, resend traffic, over.
This is Havoc 3, we're ready to go.
Copy last Havoc 3, over.
Myers, is
Havoc
that
4,
you right next to me?
traffic, over.
Yeah, Full's loaded 5.
Roger, over.
Hear me out?
Sergeant Myers, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you not hear me? You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, Sergeant.
Alright.
Alright, sir.
This is 3-4,
Yes,
off
sorry,
comms, fully clear.
Copy 3-4.
I'm gonna be spawning most of this shit in. Your job tonight's just mostly gonna be, like, if you see an opportunity to spawn something in, do it, but mostly just run around and take over the AI and make sure people are keeping their heads down and reacting appropriately to getting shot at.
Yep, sounds good.
I
just hear
This is 3-4 back in comms.
There's only 8 guys in here, and they all have AK-74s, and that's it. No grenade launchers, no machine guns or anything. Fuck is that? I don't think the Zeus Zeus camera can't go that high.
3-7, you're the closest one near the fucking cop walls. Push towards the one cop walls.
3-1's down.
Birds left.
Copy, 3-2 is breaching the front.
Breach the southern end. 3-3, this is 3-7.
Go for 2-3.
3-7, push to the northern end of the bird and punch it from the northern end. 3-1, go ahead and provide security to that road, making sure nothing comes up that road from the south, as well as you 3-4, nothing comes up the road comes down the road from the north. Over.
3-4 copy is getting security facing north.
3-7 out.
Alright, the only two left are the two in the buildings, so this guy and the other guy that I had control of.
This is 5. I want to see more aggressive motion. Get the first element inside this cop. Let's fucking go.
Roger that, Havoc 5. We're clearing up the northern.
3, this is 3-2, over. 3, this is 3-2, over.
3-2, go ahead for 3.
3, about half the cop is secure. We are pushing to the north side now, over.
Roger on 3, let me know when it's fully cleared out.
Spoke up.
Right there, sir. Right there, sir. In that building. I got 3-3 moving in to clear it out.
Building fucking cleared.
3-3, let me know on that small cop after it's cleared out.
5th cop is currently entering time now.
Down. Clear.
I got him.
Someone on me on stairs.
Elements on 3-1. Havoc 5 is down. Havoc 5 is down at this moment. Over.
Negative. I'm back.
Solid copy, sir.
Havoc 3, copy, cop is clear. Get defensive position. I want one squad in each quarter of this fucking thing. We're holding this thing. We're not leaving. Over.
Roger that, Havoc 5.
Havoc 4, this is Havoc 5. I want you guys to get your guns set up in a central location in this cop. I need your immediate fire and mission support available ASAP. Over. Roger, Havoc 5 out. Outstanding work on clearing this cop. Havoc 3, nice work.
Thank you for that, Havoc 5.
Havoc 4, this is 5, send traffic. Havoc 3, this is 5, I need contact report.
Havoc 5, rotating contact to the north.
Copy that, let me know if you need any supporting assets to help engage, over.
Roger, Havoc 5, looks to be able to squat in that tip.
Yeah, interrogative, I see additional friendlies outside the wire of the cop. Get them all inside of this position so we can let weapons free on other supporting assets, over.
Roger, Havoc 5.
5, I need a creeping barrage between Hill 8-9 and Hill 8-7, northeast of our position, 200 meters. I need you to put 3 rounds HE on that hilltop to our northeast. Over. Roger that. Copy, 2 CTR southwest. Hold on. The 7-5 on 3-1. We have 2 CTR to our southwest approach to the top.
Understood, copy. This is Havoc 3, we got a type report from north.
Havoc 3, this is 5, be advised, enemy infantry approaching from Newport Park 2358.
I guess these guys didn't have defilade like I thought they did.
650 meters from the south, moving south to north position. Over.
Marker 000.
Havoc 5, 3 and 3-1.
It was actually shooting its main cannon. That was nice.
We got a possible.
Other marker is 000.
Copy, possible enemy armor tank to the north. Over.
At marker about 000.
What's happening?
Solid copy 3-7. We're getting assets on in time now.
I think the other Zeus operator is trying to control the same dudes.
3-2, this is 3-7. Solid copy, we get live. We get possible 3-400 or air assets. Over.
This is 3-2. That armor piece is now pulled on the west side of the MSO.
Hell is the other tank that I sent? Oh my god, what? The fuck?
5, that armor moved to the west.
Roger that. Make sure you guys take it out. Let me know if you need any help from air assets or mortars. Over. Copy, MB2 to the north. I hear armor teams engagement. Over. 4, this is 5 and 3-1. Over. Roger, make it happen. Copy. Over.
1 is 3-7.
We have possible infantry moving at 230 right to left.
Squads have a sector. Make sure you divide the armor teams accordingly so we can engage armor from the north, south, east, and west. Over.
Roger, Havoc 5, we got 134 elements from the south and 1 to the north.
3-1, this is 3-7. Say again. Over.
They can adjust. I want to hear that armor called out of your.
We have infantry 182 behind defilade.
Solid copy 3-1.
This is 3-2. We have a armor troop carrier west. Great equivalent.
5-3, we got armor west.
Solid copy 3-2. Try as best as you can take it out. 3-4.
Havoc 3 is 5. Engage accordingly. Over.
Roger,
It is a
Havoc 5,
armored
so now.
APC. It is now directly west of my position on the
Correct,
fucking
it's
walls.
armored 8 ACP.
Reload.
Solid
Why
copy
is it not
3.
reloading?
Solid copy 3-2.
I don't care what you reload, just fucking reload something.
Havoc 3, this is 3-1.
This is 3-6 targets
5. Just fire mission. Previous fire mission 50 meters east and repeat. Over.
4 copies.
3-2, this is 3-7.
Send it.
5 is
Get your guys away from that shit. It's about to cook off.
3-2 copies. We took it out.
I don't know why this is not reloading.
5, this is 4 on 3-1.
This is 5, send it.
5, this is 4, be advised, we've got enemy squads coming into the, from the east, bearing
South. Displace your guys.
Now it's reloading.
5.
3-2, we're all good. We are clear from the explosion.
This is 5.
Go ahead, Havoc 3-5.
This is free full Java on
Just got word from Dagger that was an enemy infantry squad inbound to our current position from bearing 050.
Bearing 190 south. We are black.
I had to hit the reload.
5, we're relay.
Oh, they're nice. They went around. I was hoping they would there.
Havoc 4, this is 5 on 3-1, send it. Destruction of civilian property, so avoid buildings, over.
I don't think these guys are going to be able to make it across that bridge. We got a little bit of a ditch here. Missed!
Havoc 3, this is 5, roger that. Havoc 3, this is 5.
Going for 35.
Interrogative, the only squad that I see. Havoc 3-2 is approximately 130 meters outside the wire. Make sure Havoc 3-2 and 3-1 are in position if they want to move back. Over.
Roger that, 5 will advise.
Turn your fucking lights off.
Havoc 5, I have a BTR on the hill to the northwest, approximately Blue Force Spark 0007, over.
Roger that, 5, what's port now?
Also a BRDM to our northwest, out in the open.
Copy 3-2, can you engage it?
Havoc 5,
We're engaging now with HED, one tires out, over.
There might be another BTR out there, over.
Havoc 3, be advised, 3 has more infantry side of the hill from marker 0005.
3-3, this is 3-7, solid copy.
3-1.
Looks like BTR just came over the top of the hill. That's an APC to the northeast.
Interrogative, a lot of you guys are shooting out to the northeast. Do you need mortars out there?
That's Charlie. Repeat that last fire mission. Adjusted from the fucking top from 0003 all the way down to 005. They're fucking using that backslope, over.
All squads is 3-7. Havoc 4 is going to be fucking hitting Blue Force marker 0003 to 0005. Disregard that. All squads is 3-7. I need contact reports. Whatever the fuck you're shooting, I need contact reports.
Is currently not engaging. Correction, 3 is currently engaging to the northwest.
5, wait, over. Solid copy, stand by, right.
3-1, this is 3-3. You got flick off. Yeah, copy, we took it out, over, it's smoking. Roger that, 3-2. We got another APC to our northeast. Got an armored troop carrier northeast.
And most of our infantry squads are going black on the AT, over.
Roger. Copy that, Havoc 3-7, I'll try and get 5. Knowing exactly what they see.
Solid copy, Havoc 5 up there, that number is moment.
This is free flow.
We got our armored transport from northwest.
All squads is 3-7, right. I need an exact count of your ATs, loads, and fucking anti-weapons.
Full be advised.
Strike 2, we're black on all AT, yellow on AT, and FD, APC to the northeast.
Solid copy 2.
Here's all black on AT.
Solid copy 3. 3-1, what's your status?
This is 3-1. We are halfway through our AGDP. We do not have an AT4. We're 3 knots of law.
3-4, what is your last count?
This is free flow at 2 times heat and 1 times missile load.
Havoc 5, 3-6, 3-1. They have a total of 0.
Have to be advised, I just got Foreman down on my position, Romeo and Hoodie. They hit by an auto-gated south for 1803.
I can't see shit.
I can't get range. Havoc 3, this is 3-1, 2IC in effect. Actual depth taking fire from an auto-cannon BTR. Range is 800 meters south from my position, marking closest again. This is 36 guys here on over now, guys. Mark 0012, that's as close as I got.
5, this is 4 on 3-1.
7 back up.
3, give me station 4.
5, this is 4, be advised, we packed up the tree.
3,000 back down in the tower, we can't take it out until that auto-cannon's down.
If you need to set up again, over.
Copy that. Go ahead and set up. I think the target's been
Free, we'll have
spotted.
issues again, now we'll have to move them.
BMPs.
Havoc 5, this is 3-7. You all good? Over.
I think so. 3-7, over.
This is Havoc 3, 66 heavy casualties from that.
Copy that 3-6.
Shit.
Havoc 4,
Holy
5,
shit.
everybody reconsolidate, get your fucking shit together, and let me know a status report. I did an ACE report, ASAP, over. Before this is 5, copy your last. How many rounds do you have available, over? Roger, over.
I was firing, like I thought I saw buildings, so I was shooting, so.
J'attends les ordres. Un de moins. En attendant. Prêt. J'attends. J'attends les ordres.
There's that bowl I was putting stuff down in earlier. Right here, is this it?
En route. Attendu. En route. Entendu. En route.
Havoc 3, this is 5, over.
Havoc 5, this is 3-7. Send it.
3-7, this is 5, be advised. 2 enemy squads approaching from the northwest. Blue force mark 0016, over.
Solid copy. 0016. 2 enemy squads approaching in from the northwest on Havoc 5.
Roger, out.
En attente d'ordre. En attente d'ordre. En route. Reçu.
The fuck?
Havoc 5, this is 3-7.
3-7, this is 5, wait, over.
They already took that BTR out. Both of those BTRs are already down. The fuck?
It's 3-2, we dismounted 1 times BTR, this time with HDP, over.
Havoc 5, this
3-1, you
is
got danger
3-7.
close left,
We have
danger
2
close
times
to the east.
BTRs to our north. Danger post and danger post enemies to our east. Over.
Yeah, copy. Focus on the enemies to the east. We'll take the ones to the north, over.
Solid copy 5, 3-7 out.
3D is currently taking fire from the squad, bearing 040
No, get in the gunner's seat. Just get inside. Jesus Christ.
Solid copy, confirmed.
So you guys are helping.
5 to 3-6, we got another squad to the north.
3, this is 5 on 3-1. Go ahead and engage it. If we don't fucking take care of these enemies, we can't get resupply in here. We have no more AT for the entire fucking platoon. So Need you guys to handle this yourselves, and we'll get fucking resupply in here, over.
Roger that, 5.
I don't know what any of that shit means. Okay, I guess we're not using that. Which one has the fucking front gun?
Havoc 3, this is 5.
There we go.
Go ahead for 3.
3, this is 5. I'm hearing nothing between you and our our friendly mortars right now. If you need any fire support, we have a few rounds left with the mortars, so call it off and work with them yourself. Over.
Havoc 5, this is 3-7.
3-7, this is 5.
Havoc 5, 3-7, be advised. At the hillside to the northeast, we have enemies coming up the back slopes. Over. Requesting Havoc 4 on it.
I have a gun?
Last, we just had a fucking beautiful resupply land its ass in the middle of the cop. Go ahead and resupply with ArmA. And Havoc 4, you're cleared control over to that hill to the northeast of the backside. Blue Force Mark 0017, over.
One of these things has the fucking nose cannon.
Havoc 3-7 out.
Are these all broken?
Second 4, this is 5 on 3-1. Correction, Havoc 4, this is 5 on 3-1.
There we go, that thing's got a nose cannon. And nothing else, literally nothing else.
Havoc 5, this is 3-6.
Can you actually move?
Havoc 2, this is 5 on 3-1, stand by, over.
What is going on here? Why are these things not operating? Yeah, they're super bugged. Like, it's not turning on.
Alright, Havoc 3, this is 5. I'm working on that issue there, over.
Havoc 4, this is 3-7.
Oh my god, where the fuck is it?
Havoc 4, this is 3-7.
3-7.
4, this is 3-7. BDA is 100 over 100. Good fucking mission, over.
This is 3-6. We got a BRDM to the northwest.
3, this is 5. Copy BRDM northwest, over.
There's smoke now. Can you not pop smoke on the ground anymore? Whatever. They'll either find it or they won't. There is no rain. my god.
Although I want to see,
Yep.
Morgan,
this is AJ. We got something on
Another
the
3-1 cop.
This is 3-6, all comms on mic.
3-6 is 5, copy. Also need traffic to Havoc 3-7 over.
J'attends les ordres. Un de moins. Prêt. En attente d'ordre. En attente d'ordre. J'attends les ordres. J'attends les ordres. Russe. En route. En route.
Havoc 5, this is 3-7.
3-7, this is 5 on 3-1, set it.
Havoc 5 is 3-7. Small arms fired to the south of your position. Moving up north, over.
C'est reçu.
Copy, enemy small arms from the south to north, over.
Compris. Reçu. Prêt. En attente d'ordre.
Havoc 5, this is 3-7.
3-7, this is 5. Be advised, I told you everybody to step away with the fucking box. Now I hear everybody fucking talking about it. Alright? So just let them know we're fixing it, over.
Solid copy 5. Let them know, over. Be advised that we do have a fire team size element to the north, just outside the wire, over.
Copy that. Fix it with small arms. Make sure they're gone, over.
They're fucking eliminated, Havoc 5. 3-7 out.
That's what's nasty I like to hear, Havoc 3-7. Tango Mike, out.
This is 3-6, back in comms.
Готов.
Why are you guys running the wrong fucking way?
Five is 3-6, we got more small arms to the south.
3 is 5, roger, over.
3-1, try to adjust to them as you're flanking them. I'll try to get some air support on them. 3-1, this is 3-7.
This is 3-1, send it.
3-1, how close are they to your friendly position?
Danger close. Break, this is 3-2, north MSR, main battle tank.
Break. Havoc 5, this is 3-7.
Range,
We have a main
8
battle
meters.
tank coming down to the north. But some type of support on it.
Roger.
This is free, I'm pushing the team to engage the T7.
Confirm T70. Confirm T70.
Inbound time now, over.
Solid copy, Havoc 5. We're talking Havoc 5, this is 3-7.
3-7, this is 5 on 3-1, to traffic, over.
That tank is maneuvering east from previous marker.
But green smoke is on friendly position. Green smoke is on friendly position, and tank is maneuvering to the east.
3-3 has more infantry coming from the northeast.
can see that fucking laze on my tank.
Speed marker 0029.
Havoc 3, this is 5 on 3-1. Be advised, enemy air assets are inbound on that target time now. Over.
Range.
This is 4 on 3-1.
This is 3-1. That BTR out to the south is still up
5
and
on
active.
3-1 for that.
5, this is 4, be advised, we just had some op 4 come over from the northeast, creeping over, definitely to get over.
That copy that. Keep an eye on it right now. We're working on resupply and we're looking at that blue mobile.
3-1, you're gonna have more contact
push out and
east.
clear that out or stay inside the wire at this time, over.
Stay inside the wire. We got type of control on air assets, meaning they're going to shoot anything that's moving outside of where we can see down. Over.
This is 3-6, we got about possible 2 BTR to the south.
Copy, 2 times BTR to the south. Copy, 2 times BMPs to the south. Havoc 5, this is 37.
This is 3-2, that's a bad drop. It is going into the water.
Havoc 5, this is 37.
Fucking lights off.
8.
Correction, this is 3-2. It looks like it is just short of the water, but it's out of the wire to the west. Over.
5, 3-6, the airdrop marker is 0033 on blue 4.
I should have put troops in this.
3-2, this is 3-7.
Send it.
3-2, 3-7, have 2 of your guys position with me and we're going to clear this shit out and try to get some friendlies on this.
Copy. This is 3-2, we got ears on a BTR headed right at you.
Alright, Havoc
from the north.
5, we want to 0033 and see if that resupply is anything worth going after. Over.
35, we
Hit
got
that
a
shit,
BTR
3-2, hit that
northwest.
shit. This is 3-2, we're fucking trying.
South.
It's out of our range.
Right on them.
Oh my god. The slowest turret I have ever seen in my entire fucking life.
Havoc 5, 37. 5, 7.
This is Freehold. This is 31, we got a BTR right outside the goddamn wire. Solid copy, Freehold.
Alright,
40's
this
fucking
is 5,
engaging.
nice work on that BT.
6, this is 3-2.
I ran into that little concrete roadblock and it popped all 8 tires. If this stuff would actually do what I was telling it to do, it would be great. It would all shoot at the same time at the targets that I'm aiming at.
Interrogative, I think the BTR just blew up. Alright, make sure. Now that's good. Havoc 4, this is 5. There's some guys over there getting some more rounds.
This is Freehold, eyes on 1 times MDT. Northwest engage your jet.
3-4,
3-7. Break, 3-4, 3-7. We have an enemy tank pushing down from the north. Pushing down from the north-northwest.
Shoot at more stuff! Don't stop!
Copy, free, this is free full.
Yeah, Havoc 5, 3-6, drop the battlemeter into the water.
Is that AI or is that the other Zeus operator? I really don't know. That's AI. Why are these units getting so close?
3-4, this is 3-7. That tank is pushing towards the MSR to the north. Over. Position displaced from there. Over. 3-2, this is 3-7. Cut my last.
Yeah, copy. That tank is going down.
That entire defensive lineup. Alright. Killed like a battalion's worth of enemies so far. Oh yeah. Alright, this will probably be the last push.
Are we coming up to Index, Captain?
Soon. I'm gonna do one more big push.
5, this is 3-7.
If you want to spawn shit, go for it.
Yeah. 3, this is 5. 5, this is 7. Requesting
I'm
to
gonna
see
go in
if
from
Blue
this.
Force marker 0022 is still
From
active
both
to
sides
the
again.
south at grid reference 066-025, over. Say again, Blue Force marker, over. Blue Force markers to our south at Blue Force marker to our south 0022, over.
On attend d'ordre.
Roger, standby, over.
J'attends. J'attends. Prêt. J'attends. J'attends. Reçu. Reçu 565.
How is this guy's machine gunner? You got RPGs well here. Oh, wrong guy.
Street, you got eyes on a technical south, bearing 185.
Solid copy, 3-4. You have eyes on it, over.
3-1's got eyes, we're engaging.
Solid copy, is it taco truck or is it a fucking gas, over?
3-6.
Send it.
Looks like
The
it's a
flying
taco truck.
box hit the ground and
Getting
then fully disappeared.
Just free flow.
Roger. Again, I'm not doing that again. We tried it 3 times already, it's not fucking working, so we have what we have, okay?
Roger that, Big 5.
We're not gonna get resupply. We're gonna keep some parasites hunkered down what we got.
Havoc 5, can we take enemy RPGs off body?
3-3 is kind of
Alright, so I'm pretty sure I saw these guys running the wrong fucking way again. And these guys. Are these guys at least moving the right way? I didn't tell them to move yet. If they would actually do what I wanted them to do, I would have to use like half as many AI. But I'm sure everyone doesn't mind getting 20 kills in a mission. I don't think I've ever heard someone complain about having shot too many enemies. Nope, I didn't want it up in the air. I wanted it.
Havoc 5, this is 3-7.
Havoc 5, there's no voices from the road to the south.
Back on that, Havoc 3. Use what you can do. Do you have any AT left?
5, stand by.
Shit.
Eyes on.
5, 3-6, we got another slicker report to the north.
3, this is 5, say again your last
Where are
number.
the Tunguska? I don't know. I don't know where the damn Tunguska
6,
are.
5, we got another slicker to the north.
3-7 over.
Solid
copy 3-2.
Well, they said they needed a medic over there. I'm not sure if they absolutely need one. Let me know. On this guard.
I don't know which direction this thing is facing.
3-1, this is 3-7.
This is 3-1, send it.
3-1, confirm that the enemies have been eliminated at Blue Force marker 0043 to your south, over.
Stand by.
Standing by.
Havoc, know how many.
I love to be advised, I got dagger down on my position.
Yeah.
Admiral, this is 3-1, be advised all enemies
Yeah, kill it.
34, can you get
Just free still with sharp, be our last rocket.
We have air assisted on it as well, so whoever.
Sir, can we get another fucking Zeus cannon northwest? Be advised, that cannon is 600 meters from our position.
5 on 3-1 rifle that last.
This is 3-4 rocket.
Solid copy 3-4.
I think it hit the tank in front of me.
Northwest over.
That shit's like a negative effect.
Fucking hit.
marker 0043. 34, this is 37.
This is Havoc 513 on that anti-air armor is fucking cooking.
The tank.
Let's send your last traffic over.
Alright, don't send it.
Solid copy 3-4, you on your last rocket.
Have it
widely over.
5.
This is 3-2. We have another sugar to the north. We believe there's a second one behind one of the buildings.
0040 north. Half a click. Need to know if you are engaging any infantry over there.
3-3 still taking sporadic contact to the northeast.
Which marker?
3-2 just took an RPG to the northeast hill 066.
Roger that, over
This
to
is
the north.
37. Send it. 3-2 37, are you engaging anything at 0040 over? Wait, 5, this is 4. That's where we last spotted the enemy shield that it pulled west from that position. Be advised, we're seeing RPG launches. 3-3 is currently engaging in that area. To our northeast. Is 37, if you can get a marker on that infantry. Negative, infantry is too close to the wire.
Yeah, copy that. Havoc 3, be advised. We have some RPGs coming up from that hill, so Warlord's going to be engaged.
Roger that, 5.
Some of these guys made it really far up in there.
Go ahead and move those 6 rounds. Pretty full copies, request entry. 50 meters southwest. Solid copy, district 37 out. Jacket, this is for 0040-069-032. Hey, firm, we're looking for we're still engaging enemy infantry northwest, just few light footballs. Roger, 32.
37 over.
37, this is full of traffic.
Right, everybody on 3175, be advised, supply on location. And by the east side of the intersection. Over. Solid copy 5.
3-1, this is 3-4. 3-1, send it. 3-1, I got an 84 for you.
I was trying to find my range.
At Blue Force marker 0040.
I was trying to make sure rounds were landing near that 240 gunner because he wasn't paying attention. I was going to shoot him in his ass.
To the northeast. Yeah, copy, we took him out. Go shift 3-2.
Havoc 5, this is 37. 37, this is 5, send it.
Havoc 3, this is 3-4.
He's not listening to talk about it anymore, over. Yeah, I saw that. I just saw another one come in too.
Straight 2, just took another
Oh, thing was sitting there not doing anything. For fuck's sake. Oops.
3-4. I'll try to come and do it.
Havoc 3, hold down for what we got. We're having problems with the supply boxes. Just hunker down for now. Use what we got.
Oops, I didn't mean to delete that. Alright, I think that was the last guy. I just killed all the rest.
Havoc 3, this is 5 on 3-1.
Go for 3-6 on 3-1.
Need an 8 support, over.
Okay, 5. This is 3-6. We are green on ammo. We're red on AT.
Copy that.
All squads, this is 3-7, break. Do not get fucking stagnant. These enemies can be prone to maneuver on our position now. Keep your awareness up, over.
I don't have a fucking... I don't have a battery from the rangefinder, so I can't get a range out here.
3-2, this is 3-7, there's no fucking eating on my comms.
Sorry, Sergeant. I got hungry.
3-1, 3-3, and 3-4, did you copy my last?
3-1 copies, we're resupplied and good to go. This is 3-4, Solid Copy, we're all resupplied. 3-3 is as good as we can get at the moment. Straight 2, we got a DMR to the northwest.
Havoc 2, this is 5, I hear sniper fire possibly from the west-northwest, over.
Captain A firm. 5, we got a possible marksman to the northwest.
3-1, this is 3-7. 3-1, this is 3-7.
This is 3-1, send it.
3-1, go ahead and get your DMR on that to the northwest.
I don't know where this round's gonna land in. But someone's gonna stand here and fucking
3-1
shoot.
copies, we're gonna get our DMR face northwest.
3-2, this is 3-7.
Send it.
3-2, can you mark where that marksman is possibly at?
5, this is 4 on 3-1. We don't have a good beat on him, he only shot a couple times, I think he's moving around, over.
I don't see where the rounds are impacting, so I can't effectively
4, this is
engage.
5 on 3-1, send it.
5, this is 4, be advised, round count back up at steady JAT, over.
Roger, Tango Mike, get back in this for the 2 for possible additional counterattack, over.
3-1 copies, we see your tracers, we got our DMR on it.
Havoc 4, this is 3-7.
3-7, full send traffic.
Stand by for fire mission, over.
Roger, send it when you're ready.
Havoc 5, fire for effect. Blue Force marker 0055. Possibly 4 times AT on Blue Force marker 0055. Grid reference 061035. Over.
Roger that, 3, that is 0055, grid 061035, break 5, this is 4 on 31 in order.
Send it.
Just requesting clearance on that fire mission, over.
He said
make it happen. What's the status of air assets RTB?
Roger that.
All squads, this is 3-7. We have Havoc 4 going, hitting that marksman and ruining his fucking night. Over. It's 3-7. I don't want you to stand down your weapons. I want that suppressor fire to stay on that position. Don't let this motherfucker know we got Havoc 4 on him.
Where did everybody go?
Copy 3.
Havoc 4, this is 3-7.
3-7, this is full set traffic.
Havoc 4 is 3-7. What's the ETA on those rounds going out? Over.
I'd be advised going out now, ETA 25 seconds, over.
Solid copy 4, 3-7 now.
All squads, this is 3-7, Berg. ETA on fire mission, 20 seconds. I say again, 20 seconds, over.
Havoc 4, be advised, splash, splash, splash.
Havoc 3, this is 3-1. Be advised, it looks like we have a BRDM out in the middle of this field. It's not firing on us. Is it destroyed?
Oh!
It's at 327 northwest.
It's 3-2, all BRDMs in our vicinity are disabled, over.
Thank you for that, 3-2.
Five is 3-6.
This is Havoc 5, said.
Do we have any air support at this time?
Negative, over.
Roger that, 5.
I was already moving before they started the fire mission. Son, if you don't get down, I'm gonna shoot you in your fucking face.
It's 3-2, over.
It sounds like the DM might finally be shooting this way.
All stations are 3-1. This is Havoc 5. Index. Go ahead and condition for your weapons and the MSR for debrief. Over.
Pretty sure they called out that they killed him.
Condition you're 4 and we're meeting.
Condition weapon, you're 4.
Solid copy, Havoc 5. I'm having a meeting center. I'm over.
Wait, was that the sniper? Oh, I think they killed him right when I released him. Now we're going to talk about not taking cover when you're getting shot at by a marksman.
3-2 is almost here.
Alpha 2.
3-3 is all here.
Alpha 2.
3-4.
3-4 is all here.
Alright, sir, they're all here.
Copy that. Captain Drumhill, do we have fixed and rotary air assets inbound?
Come here, Lieutenant.
Roger.
Get the HEDP rounds out of there. Or the HE rounds. It doesn't matter which. Are you trying to right click on them to get them out?
Yeah, or
click
drag them.
Click and drag. Is click and drag not working for you?
Stand by, let me check.
It's click and drag is working fine for me.
It's not working for me, Cap.
Can anyone get... Can you get anything out of here? Are you able to get anything out of here at all?
Yes, sir. The 5.56 rounds in the
I still see I still see everything in this crate that was supposed to be in this crate other than the morphine.
Yeah, it won't let me get anything out of it, Captain.
Same, Captain.
Not even if you click and drag.
They won't
Correct.
click and
Right
drag
click
or
or
right click at all.
I didn't ask everybody to run to the fucking box.
I don't know what the fucking problem is.
Roger that, Captain. We'll submit it with our patrol reports and bug reports, over.
Alright.
FDF.
Sergeant Myers, are you here?
Yes, Captain.
Get the pilots over here. Before the
Yes,
pilots
stand by.
get over here, I want to talk to you guys about standing and staring at a fucking marksman who's pinging rounds all around your face. About the third or fourth time that I shoot a round that lands 3 or 4 inches from your face and you're still just standing there shooting back at a target or a guy that's I don't know how many 100 meters away, you're going to start getting shot. That marksman, I don't know how many guys were, where was that? Just right here over in this corner. Not 2 minutes ago, just staring where that marksman was shooting down from. And I missed about the first 2 mags worth of rounds. But once you guys are just standing there staring, not taking cover, especially both of those 240 gunners, you're going to start getting popped. Like, that's unacceptable. If you're getting shot at, you get down and you let someone else take care of the problem.
First Sergeant Brewer.
Thank you, LT. Captain, I was the guy that was putting a fuck ton of rounds of suppression fire on top of your dome. I'm the one that you shot right in the face. I couldn't hear your rounds impacting over the report of my rifle. I had no idea your rounds were anywhere close to me until they fucking smoked me in the face.
Alright, well, you know that as Zeus operator, if you're seeing those rounds ping off right next to someone and they're not moving, whoever was in the bunker itself was getting down and shifting around and moving around.
Oh, absolutely, sir. I'm just saying I couldn't hear them impact the Hescos over the report of the saw going off.
Alright.
Was I at least getting close to you? Because I couldn't actually see all.
Yeah, I had to get...
So that's what happened.
The fuck is everyone giggling at?
I don't know, sir.
What did I miss? Tell me.
Corporal Hartman, you have a comment?
Nope, tell me what you were laughing at.
It might just be related, that's all. Our last fire mission we sent out, we had someone standing right by the tube, and they said that the mortar rounds going out actually was creating no sound for them at all, so not sure if there's possibly a bug in there somewhere, but I just thought I'd raise it as it might be related.
I heard mortar tubes launching, so that it could be an individual thing. All right, overall, thank you all for coming. Do we have the air assets here, Sergeant Myers?
Yes, sir.
Some helmets here, thank you. Overall, I just want to say from the insertion tonight to this position, from the amount where we had small arms fire from inside the cop to the response with the miniguns to one bird landing and taking the initiative and taking out and clearing this cop to the other one landing shortly later, I just want to say that was an outstanding job of all assets involved tonight as far as the rotary and infantry go. It's a very, very complicated environment where we are going to a cop such as this, and we are getting small arms fire with enemies inside of it. We returned fire with the miniguns. We landed. We dropped off infantry. Cleared out the position in a matter of minutes, and as well, we had the other bird land safely. So I just want to commend all of you guys on that. Within a very short period of time, we returned fire. We had a lot of enemies approaching from all different directions. We were completely surrounded. And I just want to say all the reports that you guys sent up the chain of command with regards to resupply, with regards to your status, was out fucking standing. I think the communication from Dagger to company to platoon and vice versa was overall very, very good tonight. Havoc 3, how do you feel about that?
I think, let's see, I definitely agree on that. Squad communication to platoon was really good this time. Unlike other operations, overall, I'd say it was a step up from before.
Roger that. Any other notes, Havoc 3?
Oh, nothing from me. Okay.
Sergeant Ritchie?
Nothing for me, sir.
There was another note that I have here. Basically, I apologize for the issue with the resupply. Like I said, send it up with the bug reports, as well as with your patrol reports. Rotary Wing, I just want to commend you on that first fucking paradrop with the ammo box. My God, you guys flew around. I don't know how fast you're flying over, but I called for resupply, and I see a box with a parachute drop about 10, 15 meters from my position. Clear, smack dab in the middle of the cop. And unfortunately, it disappeared. Like, the first time, Captain, we dropped 2 resupply boxes. I saw them, and then they disappeared right when they landed and they touched the ground. That's something we'll have to set up as well in the bug reports. But the
it's
first
something
one
Rotary needs to practice and test out themselves.
Copy that, Chief. Millen, you want to comment on that?
Thank you, sir. I think it's just a little bit of I discovered earlier, like a month ago since the new update of our mods. If we continue to use the paradrop method, the cargoes seem to glitch through the ground instead of landing on it. So I would advise us from now on to use sling load or actually landing and extracting the box out of the chopper instead, because that paradrop method, although it can get pretty accurate, but it may just cause the cargo to go explode or sometimes just disappear out of nowhere. So that is the thing.
Yeah, roger that, Chief. From now on, I'll be personally directing sling load. But as far as the paradrops, they were outstanding tonight. They were 2 out of 3. One of them landed in the water over there to the west, but the other 2 were dead fucking on. So I want to commend you and your pilots for a good job on that.
Thank you, sir.
Any comments from Rotary?
That's a negative, sir. No comments from the Rotary.
All right, thank you. Zeus, Captain Drumheller, anything you want to add from the Zeus perspective?
Do you guys see it raining?
Negative, Captain.
Negative. Okay,
Captain.
so it's just thunder and lightning, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Affirm, sir.
All right. Did you guys have a good time?
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
All right. I think you guys might have killed a battalion, maybe 2 battalions worth of foot mobiles.
That's it.
I knew those guys were gonna have a really fucking hard time doing anything. I do not ever want to, as Ares, I do not ever want to get a message from someone asking me to change the fucking weather. We deal with inclement weather problems. I don't ever want to hear that shit again.
Captain, who? No,
Special.
I didn't do that, did I?
He knows who it was.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, that's it. I got nothing else. I mean,
Isn't it standard procedure, sir, to send up any Zeus messages through company, or?
it was someone outside of your chain of command. Also, First Sergeant, yes, you hit that, or that marksman got hit twice before I let go of him. I'm pretty sure once he fell down after he got hit the second time, index was called, so I just backed out.
Roger, thank you, sir.
The suppressive fire on that hilltop made me displaced from the hilltop. And if you hadn't been putting so much suppressive fire up there, the mortar strike would have hit him. But I don't have anything else. I wasn't paying attention to anything tactics-wise that you guys were doing. I mean, there's not much other than make sure you're keeping up your sector security, and every time I send anything in from any direction, it was dying, so I guess you were keeping up your sector security.
Damn right, sir. Fixed wing, any notes from you? Lieutenant Brownlee?
Nothing, sir.
Thank you. And I'll open this up to the floor. If anyone has a question or comment, put a C or a Q in chat. First Sergeant Brewer.
Thank you, LT. Can you confirm at the end there when we were dealing with that marksman, I got word that we didn't have any air assets? Was that because they were already RTB in preparation for index?
Affirm, First Sergeant. Yeah, I sent them back to base before that happened.
That was my thought, but I just want everybody to keep in mind, especially anybody in really a leadership position, that situation is ideal for Warlord and that cannon with thermal capability. Warlord could have hunted that marksman down with the cannon, no goddamn problem. So just keep that in mind. But I figured that was the case. Thank you, LT.
Thank you. I believe my direct comment was I'll call Index after Ray Charles is done dealing with that marksman. So as far as marksmanship is concerned, I know it's a good way out, but man, we've seen a lot of rounds down range for one target.
For the record, I did hit him.
Yeah, I copy that. Top, thank you. All right, any other questions or comments? Your Q and chat. All right, outstanding work, Havoc 3, Task Force Charlie. Thanks for the evening. You're all dismissed for your individual debriefs.
Havoc 3 down to the Lieutenant channel.
All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the Havoc and Chaos tonight. I'm gonna go offline for a little bit and continue with my XCOM campaign tomorrow night. Same thing, except I'm gonna be leading the task force. Let's see if deleting all this shit. Delete everything. Interesting, you won't let you delete this stuff that you can't see. Oh, well, of course my frame rate's gonna go up, all the players are disconnecting. And I have so many frames now. Alright. We'll see you guys either in a little while if you want XCOM. Tomorrow night if you like ArmA. Wednesday night is Special Forces mission. Never again if you don't like me. I don't know why you're still here. Fuck out.